7:08, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you're doing well. Coming up at 7:35, Congressman Scott Desjarlais will be joining us, and he's going to tell us about all the behind-the-scenes insanity and wrangling as they were working on passing the big, beautiful bill. So the congressman will join us at 7:35, 8:05, State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. And I'm going to ask him, what impact will the big, beautiful bill have on Tennessee and Medicare, among other things? So that and a whole lot more straight ahead on WTN. All right, so, Joan, I think that we have figured out that the good people listening to Nashville's Morning News, by and large, they are against putting Donald Trump on Mount Rushmore right now by about 56, 57%. They said, no, not right now. A bunch said maybe later. A few said, no, not ever, whatever. I think I want to change the poll now.
But just note that these are reasonable people. Okay, go on. I mean, honestly, it's reasonable. Everybody can love Donald Trump, but does he belong there now?
Not yet. Not yet. He may in like 10, 15 years. But I said earlier, I think Ronald Reagan, if we're going to add somebody to Mount Rushmore, then I personally think that you put Ronald Reagan in. By the way, the hilarity on the super text line, there's not enough rock to fit all of Donald Trump's hair on the... yeah. So I'm going to change the poll now. Have you heard Elon Musk finally decided he's going to go ahead and he's going to do the America political party? You know, the big, beautiful bill, of course, was passed. And so now he is deciding now that he is going to start the America Party, and he is going to do battle with the Republican Party and Donald Trump. So the Daily Dan poll, if you want to go take it right now, is would you join Elon Musk's America Party? I think that's a good one, right, Joan?
Yeah.
Would you join it? I mean, I know you wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't.
Right.
You know, I shouldn't speak for you, Joan. Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
All right, good.
No. I love Elon Musk. I love what he did. Mm-hmm. But the shift in his, the pendulum swing away from Donald Trump, he's just too unstable for me.
Very unstable. Yeah. Very unstable. And it's too bad because I like him too. I do. This is from Reuters. Elon Musk has launched a new political party following his epic fallout with Donald Trump. The former first buddy announced the foundation of the American Party on his X social media platform Saturday. So on and so forth. He says he took an online poll by a factor of 2-1. You want a new political party, and you shall have it, Elon writes. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the American Party is formed to give you back your freedom. What freedom? What freedom are we missing right now?
I wondered that myself.
Did you? Like I said that, and I'm like, wait a minute. I can do anything I darn right well please. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. I don't understand what that means, but okay. So Elon Musk, and by the way, you know who's helping him? Mark Cuban.
Oh, see, now it's sus.
Yeah, because you're going to have all of these never-Trumpers and these Democrats trying to help him because they believe that it will weaken the Republican Party. So, of course, you're going to have Mark Cuban. You know who else is said to have been helping him? Mike Pence.
Oh.
Listen, I'm just reporting the news. Don't get mad at the messenger.
Yeah.
Scott Bessent, though, he was asked about this over the weekend on the chat shows.
Not a big secret that you had your differences with Elon Musk when he was working in the administration. He announced this weekend that he is starting a new political party. Does that worry the Trump administration?
Look, the principles of Doge were very popular. I think if you looked at the polling, Elon was not. So I believe that the boards of directors at his various companies wanted him to come back and run those companies, which he is better at than anyone. So I imagine that those board of directors did not like this announcement yesterday and will be encouraging him to focus on his business activities, not his political activities.
Right. So he is correct. I mean, you would think that Tesla's been through enough. I mean, wouldn't you?
In overnight trading, Tesla lost 7%, and that's just today.
Doesn't
just
he
today
have
because
a responsibility?
yes. So, what may end up happening, and if I'm surprised that it hasn't already, the shareholders may vote him out.
Yeah.
They may ditch him and, move on with the company.
Honestly, they need to.
Yeah.
And he needs to give it up. I mean, if he wants to go and be all into politics, that is certainly his choice, but he's destroying the company, and he's destroying a really good company, as a matter of fact. And the people who have invested in Tesla, the people who work at Tesla, they're seeing this, and they are no doubt face palming. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, James Fishback, but he was on the socials over the weekend. Now, this dude is a big-time hedge fund manager, but he's also like a businessman. He's a Donald Trump supporter, and he had some comments on Elon's new mission.
Let's get real for a second. No real Trump voter, no one who really loves what President Trump did in his first term and loves even more what he's doing right now on the border with the economy and foreign affairs, is switching teams to the America Party, which is an apt name for perhaps the most anti-American party in 100 years because it pushes the open border H-1B agenda, because it's for the Green News scam light, and because ultimately it wants to rob Americans of their democratic leverage against, of all people, the Democrats.
Now, one of the things that he has said, Elon Musk has said, is they are starting with the midterm elections. So the only thing that I can think of is that he is going to focus on primarying Republicans that are in Republican-safe seats. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't actually, as conservatives, at least I hope that's what he's doing, because we can't afford to lose any seats in the House. And we just had Jody Barrett in here talking about just that as he announced his plan to run for the 7th. So when you look at all of this and you look at what Elon Musk is trying to do, it's clear, and he hasn't come out and said who he is going to target yet, but ultimately what he's going to do is he could give power back to the Democrats, which is everything that is against what he has been working for over the past several months. And so this guy Fishback is right. Oh, wait till you hear some of the other names, by the way, that are going to be working with Elon Musk. It's all straight ahead. 7:15, time to check the roads on WTN. At 7:16, as far as your weather goes, going to be a high of 92 or 93, going to feel like 100 degrees. And appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so here's some of these names. You ready? Mark Cuban, already spoke about that.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Yang.
Oh, and this is the guy that wanted a universal payout to people, monthly stipend, so that everybody can live on. Yeah. He's totally legit.
Anthony Scaramucci, or people used to recall Scaramucci.
Mooch.
I used to do that all the time, drove people nuts. Because you know what I do, right? I just, do it, and get people really angry with me because I do it all the time. Scaramucci. Thomas Massey is said to be helping.
Of course.
Anti-Trumper. I mentioned Mike Pence as well. And I'm sure some others. Rand Paul's name hasn't come up yet, but it would not surprise me in the least. And so now what's going to happen is, because nobody believes that this party is actually going to win a presidential election, but they might be able to have an impact on some seats. And we've got, conservatives have a very, very slim majority in the House of Representatives. So if he wants to give the Democrats more power so that they can try to impeach Donald Trump, did you hear what happened over the weekend? Oh, what's the guy's name? Some Democrat has now filed articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. Yeah, they won't stop.
There's got to be a record for how many times one guy's been tried to impeach. Right?
Oh, he's already broken that record. I guarantee
we at,
you.
8, 9?
Probably, yeah. So now the question is, what kind of an impact will this have? When you have, and again, it depends on how they formulate the whole thing, but ultimately that could give more power to the Democrats. And this guy Fishback, this hedge fund guy, he is sounding the alarm on this. He is taking this very seriously.
The truth is that no, Trump voters and the president himself are not actually concerned that Elon Musk is going to somehow take over and replace our movement. Our concern is rooted in something called math. The probability, as low as it might be, that he could pick up a couple seats by dividing a few races, taking votes away from good Republican candidates in the midterms, and then in the face of a very slim majority, which we face right now, we're seeing that as the big, beautiful bill plays out, that the Democrats return to power, that Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and Nancy Pelosi are back to calling the shots in D.C. and for the country again. We cannot let that happen.
I mean, I want you to think about this. So Elon Musk has just spent the last how many months heading up Doge and calling out all of their spending, all of their crazed spending on stupid stuff. I mean, one could say they're illegal spending, but we'll have to see if the Republicans ultimately investigate all of that. But why would he want to do this? Elon Musk is like the crazy ex-girlfriend you never wanted. You know what I'm talking about? Or the crazy ex you've never wanted?
Yeah.
It's like he's just going to burn everything to the ground because he is angry. So Mark Cuban, by the way, of course, trying to help out Elon because it would help out the Democrats. So, of course, Elon Musk is trying to get help from the Democrats like Mark Cuban because if those votes in the House of Representatives, if they do get split, then guess what happens? Then what you're doing is you're raising the support ultimately of the Democrat because you are splitting the conservative vote. And Joan, you and I spoke about this last week, as a matter of fact. And so there's a lot here. And there's a lot to be worried about, in my opinion, with Elon Musk, not really for the presidency, but for the House of Representatives, which could be huge for Mark Cuban, Mike Pence, and the rest of the Democrats.
We cannot let that happen. Elon Musk is a great man. We need his leadership in the private sector with Tesla and with SpaceX and with Neuralink. But we need to leave the country and our future back in the hands of President Trump. We are doing that, and we need to continue to support our president at this pivotal moment. As we approach the 4th of July tomorrow, we are celebrating our independence, of course, from Britain long ago, a tyrant. But we're also reminded that this fight we pay for with eternal vigilance, mindful that at any time our movement and our liberties can be undermined, and we must never, ever take that for granted.
Yeah, this guy, again, he is a hedge fund manager named James Fishback, and he is sounding the alarm on this. And so he's actually taken the next step. He, I guess, had a big deal with Tesla that he was going to roll out next week. He's actually pulled out of that deal, which, of course, what does it do? It screws Tesla. So we'll have to see ultimately what Elon does. He's got a lot of Democrats, a lot of never-Trumpers, and they are supporting Elon in this endeavor because it'll help the Democrats as a party. We'll have to see if Elon ultimately gets bored. But he really is like a, what do you call it, Joan, when a woman gets denied? What do they call it? Oh, what do they call women that are angry?
Angry woman.
No, there's a saying, and it's dropped out of my head right now.
There's nothing worse than a
woman
scorned.
Scorned. Elon Musk is like a
woman scorned.
Scorned, but he's a dude. There you go.
I kind of knew what the answer was, but I was scared to was I going to get this wrong? Is she in trouble?
Between the two of us, we have a single brain cell in operation today.
Listen, in fairness,
my thought was just like woman, just woman. I don't know.
In fairness to Joan and I, between the storms and the leftover fireworks that people were shooting out, last night outside of our homes, we
Very little
probably
sleep.
You got some after too. I had it over the weekend as well. No idea why they were so late.
We probably got a couple of hours sleep between us, so that's why we're.
Somebody got a discount on the late purchase of firearms.
My goodness
fireworks.
Gracious. It was like, I mean, I remember, and I'm not hating on anybody, my neighbors. I love all my neighbors, but I'm trying to sleep. And it was like every time I started nodding off, the fireworks started sounding. So, yep. So, love you folks that you listen. Joan and I were counting down. We are counting down to 9 o'clock. Well, me and 9, Joan. What did 11, 12 o'clock?
10:30.
10:30. Okay, very good.
some of us don't get off that early.
Yeah, woman scorned. Okay, now everybody say, woman scorned, Mandis,
Yes.
woman scorned. Mandis, you should know that by now. It's woman scorned. You've had a lot of them. Hey, Joan, what's coming up? 737, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in. Going to say good morning to Congressman Scott Desjarlais. Congressman, always great to have you on. How are you this morning?
Doing great, thank you.
Well, you sound nice and awake. We were actually joking before you came on how awake you would be because I tried to, how dare I tried to book you for the 6 o'clock hour. You said, I'm sleeping in. So talk about how you're feeling this morning. And I really, there's a number of things I want to talk about. Number one is how everything unfolded on Wednesday night, Thursday morning when it was passed, but also what's been going on since. And so you're now home, but I mean, it's been a long journey.
It was a busy, kind of wild, crazy, frustrating week. But I should have been on at 6. I was up at 5:30 this morning. I'm turning into you.
Well, then you'd have to get up at midnight because that's when I start my show prep.
How do you? Okay, so we did a show the other night at like 2 in the morning, and you were doing a show that was, I guess, an all-nighter. How often do you do that, and how do you do it?
Red Eye Radio, and I do that, I think, about 4 or 5 weeks a year. I think it's a nationally syndicated show, and I'm on the air typically, depending on what day it is, from either my home or here at the radio station. And I do midnight to 5, and then I'm on the air 5 to 9. And I'll start to do prep maybe at like 8 o'clock or 8 p.m. leading into the midnight show. Don't ask me how I do it because nobody really knows. I don't even know, except that it's a really, really difficult week when I do those. But, but it was great because when all of this was unfolding Wednesday night, Thursday morning, you came on the air with me and gave me a little bit of play-by-play. Talk about, because it was like, okay, y'all can go home. Then it's like, oh, no, you have to come back. And it was just sort of back and forth. It was just, it was crazy, all of the behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Okay, so it's kind of like in medicine when you're on call. You sleep with one eye open because you don't really know what's going to happen. And, we knew it was going to go into the night, but we got a call. I can't remember what time you and I talked, maybe 2 in the morning, something like that. And then we get a call that they're starting debate on the bill at 3, and that's supposed to go for an hour, but we know it'd go a little longer, but they said you're supposed to vote at 5. So, I got up, showered, went into the office and sat there and drank coffee, and they moved it to 6, and they moved it to 7, and then Jeffries kept talking, and then it was 8. And finally they just decided that we were going to vote whenever he was done. And I thought, okay, this guy's going to go for the record because Pelosi had spoken for, I don't remember, 8 hours, and McCarthy spoke for 8 hours and 32 minutes and whatever it was. But anyways, he rambled on up there for 8 hours and 45 minutes saying basically nothing. And, I think it was pretty frustrating for everything. I don't even think his own team knew he was going to do it. He just decided to do it. And I listened to part of it, but I don't know if you did. It really wasn't saying anything, just everything Trump does is bad.
I wasn't, Congressman, if I may, I was not going to dignify his long, drawn-out, lying speech with listening to too much of it. I played 20 seconds on the radio, and that was about it. One of the things I find fascinating about this whole thing is, you had some of these congressmen, Republicans, that had to be convinced that they needed to vote for the big, beautiful bill. And they were going to be, no votes, no votes, no votes until they were yes votes. What happened in the final hour? Do you know?
Yeah, it really is amazing because you saw that there was a group and they kind of stick together, and it's some form of negotiation. It's like they probably knew all along that they were going to vote for it. We kind of had to. And in all honesty, everything in this bill is not perfect, but I would say we accomplished more in this one bill than we did in his entire first term. We had all kinds of things we wanted to do that first term back in 2017. The tax cuts were about the only thing we got done, and people forget how much it helped them. And had that expired, they would have learned in a hurry that they missed that. But there were other things in there that dealt with energy independence and border security. And there used to be this concept in America where, if you are able to work, you should work, you should do your share, you should help pull the wagon, not just sit in it. And people are freaking out because now, we're asking people who can work that they should work. And in a state like Tennessee, every person that comes to my office to talk to me about their business complains about workforce problems, that they don't have enough people to do jobs. And so to say, you can't work, or you shouldn't work, or you don't want to work, I mean, for all of us that do and pay taxes, it should be pretty refreshing to know that we're taking steps to actually ask people to pitch in a little bit instead of just take from the government. It used to be kind of shameful to, if you had to be on food stamps, maybe you had to because you were in a tough time, or maybe you had to be on Medicaid because, you're going through a rough time, you were sick, and that's what those safety nets are for. But it became just a way of life, and everyone thought, well, hell, everyone else is doing it, I'm going to do it too. And so in this bill, for first time in a long time, we're actually asking people to pitch in and help with the country. I mean, help do your part, and if you need help, there's still help there. So I don't understand why it's such a tough concept. I mean, to go off on a rant here, but the people that are complaining about this bill have kind of forgotten what America was about, built on and how it's supposed to function.
Well, and I'll tell you that for people that need a reminder, go to my X feed. Congressman, I don't know if you've seen this yet. Go to my X feed at Dan Mandas Show, and there is a video that went viral, and you got a bunch of, it's like a family, and they're dancing at the checkout after spending $3,000 at Walmart on EBT food stamps. And apparently this is what she does. And they are clearly ripping off the system. And I will mention, you talked about how people are ripping off the government. They're really ripping off all of us because those are our taxpayer dollars that people are using. And these folks, this took the internet and social media by storm over the weekend because you have this family and they are doing this happy dance because they have once again been able to rip off the American taxpayer by clearly going to Walmart. And this is a woman, clearly she's dancing around. She could be working, but I don't know what her situation is, but it looks to me like it is more waste, fraud, and abuse. These are the kinds of things that really tick people off. So, I mean, if you want to go see it, find it on my X feed at Dan Mandas Show. More with Congressman Scott Desjarlais is coming up next. It is 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Tractor trailers. No problems on 40 or 65. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather for today, we are going to have some possible thunderstorms. High of 92, going to feel like 100 degrees. Thanks for listening to Nashville's Morning News. All right, so Congressman Scott Desjarlais, I almost called you Scott Green. Congressman Scott Desjarlais, let's talk a little bit about the reaction to the big, beautiful bill. Because if you listen to the media and the Democrats, James Carville even said that there was going to be a lot of Republicans voted out of office because this big, beautiful bill is extremely unpopular. I've stopped really paying attention to polls, but it's hard for me to believe that a bunch of tax breaks are unpopular.
Yeah, polls and trolls, I tell you, they're out there. And you have social media, I have social media. When Biden was in office, I could post something and you wouldn't hear from these people. Ever since Trump's been there, it doesn't matter what we post, how positive it is. I mean, there are people out there, the keyboard warriors, that just find a way to complain about everything. And, I think Trump derangement syndrome is real. Some people just can't stand the guy for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it's the media, because they demonized him, to such a great extent. But yet Biden, who we know was not able to function, kind of got a pass. Hunter Biden got a pass. Hillary Clinton got a pass. But, Trump's just this terrible guy. I think he really wants to help the country, and I think he's the businessman, and he's trying to rebuild our economy by bringing manufacturing back, actually asking people to work and contribute. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see in a year when we have the midterms how things are going. But, a few months ago, Trump had tanked the stock market because he was doing these tariff deals. It was down to whatever. Everyone's 401ks were off 15, 20, 30%. Well, guess what? It's like almost like record highs right now. And I get it. That could change. That, you know, months from now we could be talking. It's gone the other way. But the inflation rate is down. The job numbers are up. You know, things are working. And so, you know, I felt like if we didn't pass this bill, you know, you talked about the people that, you know, need to get attention or try to get special, you know, maybe they have needs for their district. Lisa Murkowski certainly in the Senate got things done that, you know, were for her. But, you know, unfortunately, that's the way government works. You have to work with people to get things done. But we'll see. I mean, let's see where we're at a year from now. Everyone liked Trump's economy back in 2017, and I think the economy's getting better. I saw gas prices like $2.40 up around Nashville when I was coming home the other day, and I think egg prices are down, and there's just a whole lot of good things going on. We destroyed a lot of Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Yeah.
You know, I think our adversaries respect us again. They think. You know, we had an incredible mission with the B-2 bombers, and we got a B-21 that's coming out that makes that thing look like a toy. And so I think for the rest of the world, they see us strong again. They see our recruitment's up. The Army has met their recruitment. It was down 25%. And there's just so many good things happening. So Carville and those guys can say we're going to take a beating in the midterms, and that's pretty typical. When a president gets elected, the midterms tend to go the wrong way. But if you do the right thing, and people are starting to feel like, okay, the border's secure, the military's better, I've got money in my pocket, the stock market's up, I think we have a pretty good chance of keeping the House, and I think we'll keep the Senate, and so time will tell. We'll see how this bill works out. But people elected him because they wanted something different. And so we came together and we did, big, beautiful bill. Trump always has to have fancy names, and that annoys some people. We got the Golden Dome that we're supposed to build to help protect America, and people are complaining about that.
Alligator Alcatraz, one of my all-time favorite Trump names.
Yeah, he has some dandies, but I just think that we're in a pretty good place right now, and now we can get back. We can get our defense authorization bill done. We can get our farm bill done. We were kind of paralyzed till we got this done, and it was hard. And credit to Speaker Mike Johnson. A lot of people like, who is this guy? Looks like Mr. Peabody, whatever. He's very sincere. He's very genuine. I don't think he's cutting side deals like some other speakers have done. It's just like, hey, team, let's get together. We put Trump in office. He's the quarterback or he's the coach. Let's run his plays. People elected him. I mean, they elected us too, but they elected us to promote his agenda, and I think that's what we're doing. So all the naysayers, heck, they may be right about some things, but I think we did a lot of good things with this bill, and I think Trump's vision for America is not because he wants to be king, or he just wants to be a better place the way it used to be. And so, I've been telling people I'm more optimistic now than I've been since I've been in office, and I think we're going to continue to do good things.
All right, Congressman Scott Desjarlais, always appreciate having you on. Great analysis and insight as always, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again sometime soon. 7:51 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open at 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. By the way, programming note, I think, is Murphy Show back today? Murphy Show is back today, isn't he?
I don't know.
I believe that Murphy Show, I happen to know for a fact that Murphy Show is back today, which means that Chris Hand
Then why'd you ask us?
is going to be back at 8:35.
Is it a guessing game?
Yeah.
I was just testing you, KGB and Joan.
I see.
You act like I pay attention after 9 a.m.
And the funny thing is you both failed.
It's just like in high school.
All right, 7:51 on Super Talk 99.7. So definitely looking forward to Murphy Show getting back in the afternoon, 3 to 7.
That means we get the crisscross back.
We get the crisscross back. That's exactly right. Can't wait to talk to
There we
Chris.
go.
It's been so long since I've seen Chris. Looking forward to that. At 8:35, at 8:06, we have State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. He's going to be joining us again at about 8:06. And Joan Jones has the news at 8. Joan.
Yeah, why residents in Central Texas are on the edge again this morning. And a Murfreesboro family Well, they set their own home on fire. We'll tell you why they're not being charged. That and more coming up at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.